WhatsApp or SMS us on 0044 777
All right, welcome everyone back. This is DJ Tammy, and we have another episode of Females in the Mix podcast. And today, my special guest is Crystal Fearon. Thank you for coming, for being on virtual world with me here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so you're a manager of New Styles. Can you tell me a
Yes.
bit? Like, can you introduce yourself? Can you tell me how did your journey in the music industry in general started?
It started previously with a former friend of mine where we decided to get together and become like a team for her. That relationship recently broke down, and New Styles asked me sometime last year if I could help to manage him, and I said no because I was focusing my time on her, and I do it. But if anything, it's not a no, but a no for now. So it was in March last month. I've reached out to him and I said, "Are you still looking for management or any assistance in any type of way?" And he said, "Yeah." And we met up, and that's how our relationship started. And recently, I've had another opportunity to work for a label that's based in Brixton, Rapture Records, as their A&R. So it's opened up a lot of opportunities for me.
Really interesting. Did you study anything like music related in school, or was it just like your friend circle?
No, I didn't study anything. I
Mm.
have the deepest, most profound passion for music, but I never thought I'd ever end up working in it. It just I always say like I fell into it, or it was by accident. Um, it was just a collective agreement that we think our friend should have a team because we need to push her forward. We need to push her forward. And
Mhm.
then when those ties were severed, I just thought my passion still for music and working in this is still very much there. So yeah, I studied. I'm not music management, business management and administration, but
Mhm.
nothing music related.
Let's see. Did you ever do music like yourself, or how did like when did you realize that's something you want to do in life?
Oh gosh, I'm smirking because in school, in primary school, we had a band when I was younger, and it was so cringy when I look back on it. But that is the closest thing I've ever been to music. Is that, and obviously my passion for music and being such a geek when, especially when it comes to production credits, writing credits. I'm always there researching who wrote this, who wrote that. But as far as like playing an instrument or anything, no.
Mhm. Wow. So what type of music do you like?
Well, it's eclectic. I've got a Jamaican background, so I do love reggae. I do love dancehall. I like synth pop. I love house, funky house, R&B. Hip hop, garage. I've got it's a widespread taste in music, so I listen to literally anything from flipping the Fugees to Foles. So yeah.
Oh wow. All right. So just to kind of start off, I always like to share like a little fact or something that happened recently, just like highlight why is it still important to talk about this today. So I'm not sure if you heard I mean, a couple of weeks ago, there was a bit of like a social media buzz about women and safety in women. There was a couple of statistics that came out of like so one of the things is that on March 17, well, Boris Johnson and really just the government of UK announced that
Hmm.
from autumn they will be considering misogyny as a hate crime, and moving forward, any stalking, any like sexual assault messages, anything that really leads to that will be
Mm.
considered a crime, which is I think great. I don't know how
Yeah,
actually like I wonder how many countries have something like that in because obviously we have some sort of aesthetics, H&R in workplaces and
yeah,
discrimination laws and all that, but then just that gender related kind of crimes, it's really
yeah.
interesting, and I guess good to know. I mean, we still have some time to go till autumn, but
Yeah, I think it's very progressive. I think we're going in the right direction with that. Absolutely. Now
mhm.
that we're going to have a law that underpins that, instead of us marching for it, we have a law now that will underpin it. So definitely progressive and going in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really important. So just to kind of If you could share a bit how, I mean, also how long, like when did you started being like around, I don't know, music studios, talking to industry people, like how long it's been, and what was the experience like overall? Was it great, not so great?
April 2019 was when I started. So yeah, it's been 2 years now, gone quickly. That's where it started, when it started, and I started talking with people in the industry, and as it's male dominated, we really know how that goes. Sometimes I haven't had any terrible experiences, but it's just the typical experiences that are normalized, that, the cat calling, or, you know, a man not taking your role seriously because you are a woman, or assuming that your role is something that is beneath my role, which it is, a manager. They'll think, oh, she's an assistant, or she should be an assistant, or,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
that's my experience. But overall, it's been positive. I use it as learning blocks, to be honest. I do want to change the narrative, and I join webinars that are headed by women in the industry, and we kind of stick together and get nuggets off of each other to kind of like form like a support group and share our experiences. Because what has happened to me, like, I have friends that have gone through worse when it comes to people working in the industry with certain
Mm-hmm.
men
Do you
and
think it
women.
ever, yeah, exactly. Do you think it ever puts people off from like, because I think, creative industry sometimes, especially people that are trying to make their full-time job, usually they're so passionate about it. And then do you think it ever puts someone off from like experiencing certain like, hate comments, not, I mean, just like stereotypes and all these other little bits of assault and harassment and irony and all that?
Yes, because you're under the spotlight, so every part of you is picked apart. How you look, something you could have said in the past, and you're just picked apart by it, and people's magnifying glasses are on you. So it is a situation where it can deter people from continuing their music career, or even just entering into the industry, because you have to have like such a strong armor, because it's yeah, it can really bring down your self-esteem if you're not that way inclined, like in terms of strength and things of that nature.
Hmm. So you mentioned you managed a female artist, and now you're managing a male right artist, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And how do you like? What do you no, not even know how to formulate this question, but like how was it? What do you like? What do you like? Not necessarily which one did you like more, but how do you feel being like that you
Hmm.
had both roles? Like, can females manage men and in general?
I liked managing female because I am one too, so it kind of like
Mm-hmm.
we've got that familiarity. However, managing a man, it was like, okay, this is going to be a challenge, but I'm up for it. But
Mm-hmm.
I would only say the only pro to it is that when it comes to like shoots and stuff, they haven't got to get makeup, hair, like they're pretty simple when it comes to
Yeah.
those kind of things. So that's the only difference. But no, I've enjoyed both, more for the fact of the familiarity, and a male because of the challenge that it presented to me.
Mm-hmm. And could you share a bit more in general, like what is your way of working as a manager? How did you learn, especially if there was no like particular, I don't know, not I mean, I guess vast majority of people working in music industry, there's no degrees on it to put on, but just how did you like start? Like how did you find what works best for you and
I think I incorporated a lot of my communication styles that I have in my friendship group and brought it to management.
mm-hmm.
Um, I like to see myself as progressive in terms of like learning new things, and you know just being an active listener. So I would say I'm a democratic leader. So I'll listen to your opinions and your thoughts, and we'll make a decision. But I always say the decision ends with my artist. It's never, I'm not going to be standing over you saying, you do this, you do that. We speak when, if it's resolving conflict, or if it's just discussing a new music video concept. We literally iron everything out, speak extensively through things. I listen, you listen, and it's just like a nice synergy that we got going on. So I'm very much not laid back, but because when it comes to like, you've got to be on time, I'm there. But when it comes to like the decision making process, when it comes to certain things, it's I usually just try to listen. And even if I don't agree with it, I just think, you know what, I could be wrong. So take the lead, but I'm always there as your support. So effective communication, democratic leadership, that's really my leadership style, I'd say.
And just what would you think is like what are the key traits for manager to have? You just mentioned like leadership and support. Like what would you say is like the most important for music managers to have as a character traits or just skill set?
Well, I think of like an artist manager as an octopus or someone that wears many hats. So I feel like you have to be compassionate first and foremost. As much as they are a business entity, they are human beings first. So compassion, um, effective communication, active listening. I just feel like, oh gosh, because I feel like you're a counselor, you're the booking agent, you're the person who runs out to get props. So I would have to say being proactive as well. That's definitely something, and being effective time management because you're representing them and you don't want to give them a bad name and vice versa. So many skills there that I can think of. But first and foremost, I would say compassion.
Could you share any like tricks that worked best for you? Like something you've did, maybe like I don't know, marketing wise or any like tips for artists or managers that might be listening? Like have you found like a way of working or any gems in general in your
My
experience?
strong point was networking. So I know it's been harder because outside hasn't been open and events, and that was where I would flourish in meeting and people and making new connections. So I would say building up on networking, and I feel like it's one of the hardest things to do because you're literally putting yourself out there and you're just going up to somebody and saying, "Hey," and you could be rejected and they may not receive you. So I'd say networking. I was networking on Clubhouse during the pandemic, but my thing was looking at events and seeing those events out there where people from the industry may be, so you can go up to them and not bombard them, but spark up a conversation, exchange details, and build a relationship.
So just coming back to like the maybe managing well both artists, female and men, but you said I mean obviously manager does a lot of things, but how do you think what is more important now? How involved are you in their music creation and comparing to like branding and image and all the other stuff? Like, what do you think is more important now? Or
Um, it's a whole package. Obviously, your image is first and foremost. New styles. My artist, his aesthetic is purple, so we said, I said, yeah, that will. I love the look. I love the aesthetic. So we make vision boards and things of that nature when it comes to his style. Um, as far as music, I point him into the direction of the producers that I've built relationships with. He goes and works with them, and usually I go to him with like the first meetup and see if he how he flows with them, if they vibe together, and if they hit it off, then they start making music that way. And I don't usually say I will suggest things like I think this could go here and etc. etc. But I leave him to do what he needs to do when it comes to music because as far as that is concerned, he's the artist and it's something that's organic that I can't then try and intercede and interrupt that. I've got to just let it flow. And, as a result, beautiful music comes from that.
and are you guys from the same city or you like is it same? I mean, you mentioned you had like a personal relationship prior to it, so you're friends. It's not like someone you found in a social media.
Yeah. We went to school together, to secondary school. He was 2 years younger than me, but even though we did not hang around in the playground, we had a school bus. So that was where we used to like hang out and just cause trouble on the bus when we were younger. And then years later, I saw that he was doing music. I supported it, and then here we are. But yeah, we're from the same city. We're both from London, Southeast London to be exact.
Mm-hmm. And you said that that's the artist that approached you, so like they seen your previous that you were managing the artist
Yeah,
previously, and
yeah. He reached out to me, and at the time, I was just like, I don't want to juggle too much because I wanted to just focus on that person. And
mm-hmm.
then when I start to hone and develop my skill set, then I can have like a roster of artists of maybe two or three. But
Mm-hmm.
it was the time this year, March. So I just thought, let me see what he's doing and see if he still needs some help or assistance.
Mm-hmm. And that's your is it? I mean, you mentioned that you have like 9 to 5 job. Is that music
Yeah.
related, or do you do this like on a side managing?
Now I work in mental health for the NHS for young children and adolescents. So that's my 9 to 5 outside of this. So I've been working for the NHS since 2017. So yeah, I just started a new role now. So that's
Wow.
what I'm doing outside of music. But I would love if music was like my full-time career.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I think like mental health is one of the things that we don't talk too much about in like artistic, creative
Mm,
industries, and then I think that that also conversation is just kind of starting to boom in the past, especially
yeah.
the past year. A lot of people start talking about mental health, but yeah, all these artists as well. Do you use your knowledge in that with like in with music people, and like do people come to you?
Yeah, I've been told in the past that I'm quite approachable when it comes to people opening up, and sometimes people are like, "Oh my gosh, I just told you like a lot of my life story and things I've never shared with anybody else."
Mm-hmm.
And because I've experienced it myself, I definitely can empathize and I understand, and I don't see the artist as this machine.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you need to rest and you need to take time out, I understand. If you've got stuff going on in the family, yeah, I understand. Like I understand. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would say that I'm very understanding when it comes to mental health, especially when it comes to artists, because I understand how it can be and the pressures of it all. And sometimes the pressures of thinking, am I doing enough? Or I get it, I get it, but
Mm-hmm.
I do have a great understanding of it. But I think the pandemic has forced us to confront it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned like kind of mental health of artists. What about yourself or like managers? Do you think that like managers or the leaders also sometimes need to either take a time off or like step back for a bit and then
Yeah, yeah, they do. That happened to me last year. I had a situation at work involving sexual assault, and it was under investigation and everything.
mm-hmm.
And I had to take time off of work for 3 months. My GP signed me off. And during that time, I wasn't active. And I told my artist then, I said, like this is what's going on and whatever. But in the meantime, I was, reading up and watching YouTube videos just to exercise my brain and keep it stimulated. But I needed that time off because that investigation at work just really, really, it just deflated me. So, yeah, sometimes the managers do, because they're the ones that's leading this and in the forefront, and anything that happens to the artist comes on them as well and affects them. So, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So a bit of like maybe maybe a personal question, but you just mentioned like at work and sexual assault. So that statistics that we've seen a couple of years ago, and maybe you have
Hmm.
some like insights from people I don't know in the hospital. So do you think it's true? Like numbers at 97% of I think it's age from 18 to 24 women like have experienced sexual harassment and maybe
Yeah,
your
that
thoughts on
stat
it.
doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me, that stat
Yeah.
at all,
Mhm.
because I feel like some people just have this sense of entitlement, and if that means, or even sometimes insecurity, that they feel to overpower people because of the way they view themselves. But that doesn't surprise me at all. When it came out, I literally just was like, oh, okay. Thought it would have been higher.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think I mentioned in like previous podcasts as well, but those quotes that like every every female knows like a friend or has experienced something like terrible herself, or like has a friend that's been raped, but then no man knows a rapist. Like men don't know any of their friends
Mm,
that catcalling women, but then women been like all, has a friends, or like all of their friends almost, that, or even on a daily basis sometimes.
it's convenient because I've been there when you're just walking on the street, a guy's calling out to you, which I don't mind, like because that could be a start of a great love story. I met them while I was walking on the pavement or whatever, but it's the
Yeah.
handling of rejection. I feel like when they continue to, you know, so what? You're not going to give me a number. It's just like, yeah, even that. That's included into the stats, and all of us women have experienced that. All of us.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. I mean, after a few weeks when I was so invested, so angry, was looking into all these like self-defense classes. Well, like what is legal, what like self-defense kind of items could I carry with me, which I find out that pre- pretty much none. Like it,
Yeah, I saw.
it's
Yeah, on Amazon, I was looking for tasers and I couldn't. I was just thinking, why do I see these American girls? They have it with them, but I'm thinking it must be legal over there. But I couldn't really find anything on Amazon when I was looking because, like yourself, I
yeah.
was searching for them as well.
Yeah, paper. I think pepper spray and tasers and nothing like that is legal in UK, which is interesting. I think only the personal alarms I've got it, but even with your phones, I think iPhones for sure. I'm not sure if
Mm.
Samsungs or others does it as well, where you like press the button many times and there's an alarm coming up. But then also,
Oh yeah.
but then again, like if we don't know, one of the quotes or like things that people were talking during that time where when it was, again, I don't know if calling it a trend is
Mm.
fair, but that people suggest women to call fire instead of help, because no, like, instead, like, fire instead of rape or something like that, because everyone's gonna come
Wow.
to watch a fire, but no one's gonna go help someone that's being raped. So it's a bit of a sad story. So I
That's
don't know how those
worrying.
alarms. But I mean, yeah, it's what can we do? It is what it is, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so coming back a bit to like music and artists, not to get too in the dark stories.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think like makes a good artist today? Like, what is the important for manager? Let's say if someone wants to manage an artist, and what is like the good artist to start working with? Do they have to be young? Do you have to be from the same place? Is there a certain work
Um,
ethic?
I would say they have to be coachable, always willing to learn, always willing to develop, always willing to try new things. That's something that I've learned. Always just coachable in studio sessions. If an engineer or a producer's saying, I think we should add this, I think we should add that, or a stylist says, I think we could go here with when it comes to fashion. Be open. You may not like it, but just be open, be coachable, be willing to learn. That's my advice for artists.
Mm-hmm. And could you share maybe like the best experience or like the highlight of your either of your artist period, any like while you were managing them, or yourself as a manager? Maybe you got some like great feedback, or like any other personal benefits
Hmm.
out of like networking with the people. Like, what was the highlight of your experience?
Oh gosh, I've never really thought of that. Um, oh, you put me on the spot.
No worry. I mean,
Uh,
take your time.
I
Yeah. Is there
I,
nothing that like? Well, yeah, I guess is either a lot or to pick from.
I would say one of my favorite, like my proudest moments was one of the things I spoke about before was building a brand and building relationships with brands. So I would say like the collaboration with Ray Nephew New UK with my previous artist was one of my proudest moments because that's something that I networked with somebody and they sorted that out, and because my previous artist was a big fan of that brand, it was just nice to see that connection come to fruition because that's something that we put out there from the beginning and said one day we're going to do this, one day we're going to do that, and it happened very quickly. So that's something that was a highlight of mine and hers time, and it made me realize like my ability to network and that I shouldn't doubt myself and how I approach people and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really impressive. And do you have any like biggest obstacle or like a down moment on the same side?
Um, obstacle before when I first started out, one of my obstacles was rejection. I just used to be like, I never used to, lash out or anything, but when I never used to get responses or anything like that, I just used to be thinking, are they doing that? And I'd be overthinking and whatever. So I would say that, but I've learned to just accept it. I don't care anymore. It's just like, okay, on to the next, on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. Um, but one of the obstacles I would say is, and I hate to say this, but it's just my truth, is sometimes approaching male, probably producers and things of that nature. Sometimes they kind of want to ignore the fact that you are an artist manager and they just want to keep it kind of, hey, I want to take you out, I want to this, or you look cute and whatever, which has made me think that probably I should have a separate page so as to
Yeah.
avoid those kind of things. So, yeah, people not taking you seriously is an obstacle, I would say. And then before the rejection thing, but I'm kind of getting over that now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that's something common that I've heard from female artists as well. Even myself, like I had to make like separate pages. Well, now I have a separate for the podcast as well, but I have separate of my personal like that I mean because I dance as well, so I post my dance videos
Ah,
and yeah, and then I do actually dance well, so that's
ah,
interesting. Yeah, a bit of obsessed with that culture, and
yeah.
yes, and I have a separate one for DJing, and then sometimes like there's people that I meet either in studios that I had to block from my personal page because. I mean, all pages are public when you're creative. You're kind of like, that's a part of my work.
Yes,
So I
yes.
post everything and anything, and then I kind of have to source the people out that are a bit of like just want to have a friendly conversation or about my
Yeah.
personal life and from that music business because it is the work in the end of the day. It is what I want to do full time, my life moving forward. And yeah, I can
Mm,
really relate to that. People not taking you seriously or talking for you. I mean, not like almost pretending that they care about your music or your networking
mm,
bit when they really don't. So
exactly. And this
yeah,
is not all men, by the way. I want to put that out there. It's not all of them.
yeah, no, of
Just,
course, yeah,
just here and there, here and
just
there.
enough,
Yeah.
just enough to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. And also, just like I don't know if maybe you could talk about more like music genres. Is it more common for like maybe females not being taken seriously or in general? Like, what would you think about like hip hop and dancehall communities? And is it like are women respected there? We know like for history, especially like kind of street music, it's not been really respectful towards women, lyrics wise and in music video wise and all that. What are your thoughts on that working with that type of
Yeah. Because men, they monopolize the music industry. It's so easy to have 100 rappers, little this, little that, and 100 reggae and dancehall artists, but to be a female, a woman rapper or whatever, you've got to be. It's just the one, just the two, just the three, and it's just I don't even know where to start. But so repeat the last bit of the question. Sorry.
um I'm thinking of if it was even a question. Yeah, it's just like I thought maybe like your artist. I think I saw like he's making some sort of. I mean, it's urban music in the end of the day, like, and yeah, it's just like how do you feel women are like being looked at or like if there's any stereotypes that you've been seeing around women, especially I mean music industry in general, but especially the genres that are. I mean,
They
we
have to
have like.
work 10 times harder, I believe,
Mhm.
to be taken seriously. Because I can think of a few artists in my head that I just think, how the hell did you get into a studio? Um, but we've got raw talent, women who can rap their asses off, sing their asses off, but they have to just work 10 times harder in order to achieve it.
Yeah, that's very interesting thought. Also, you mentioned like a couple of known rappers, well, female rappers. Do you think all female artists have to go with that, like with their looks?
Y-
Um, kind of if that really helps. Because I'm thinking, I don't know if we, I mean, I'm thinking of like Megan Stallion, Cardi B, and even Nicki Minaj, like the main couple of hip hop women that blew up, and they all
Yeah,
have some sort of very, very strong sexual visuals going for them, or at least had at the beginning of their career. Maybe now some of them are
it's sad to say, but yes.
had a family.
I'm not
Mhm.
sorry.
No, yeah, some of them like had families and all that, so maybe it's not as strong. But I'm thinking that is it more important for women to kind of push, or it helps in a way, like comparing to men. Like let's say you, because you manage a female and a guy artist, do you think their looks is as important, and especially more of going that like sexual way that like you have to look like people will have to want to like want you, and you know, you have to be
Mm.
attractive and all that.
It seems that way. However, I feel like if you're distinguished, if you have a distinguished style, then I feel like you're okay. But I feel like a lot of women do feel that they need to go down that route because, the same sex sells and things of that nature. So, I mean, to have a girl go on the stage in, I don't know, a turtleneck jumper and jeans, I cannot see in this lifetime like that working for the urban genre, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that even if you don't have, your legs out, your breasts out, or anything like that, you have to have a distinguished style, and that's what stamp your market. Like there's a rapper called Ling Hustle. She doesn't always show a lot of skin, but her style is very distinguished, so she does stick out. So I just feel like working on your image, working on your personal style, and getting even a stylist to help and consult with them about that. I feel like you wouldn't have to go down the sexual route, but it is what is the norm.
Mm-hmm. And for guys, does it help to kind of push their image as being like the playboy or someone that like all the girls want, and in your
Yeah,
opinion?
because I feel like the world, we do love toxicity. The futures, the Drakes of this world, they're winning. Um, Although that is not something that I believe in, pushing the toxic narrative, but it is what it is. But I wouldn't encourage my artist to do that. But I would encourage that he speaks on his experiences. So if he does have some toxic experiences, put it in the music and whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
just be authentic.
Yeah, that's really interesting you mentioned. Yeah, that's really true that like we do love drama. Like, you know, even mentioning like rape and fire, like people just want that a bit of spice and drama and toxicity, I guess, in a way. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's I mean mental health, like being healthy and positive and, you know, having balanced lifestyle is not really interesting anymore. Like you have to be workaholic or have something crazy out there to.
or taking drugs. Yeah.
Yeah, so do you think that like you said it's kind of obviously the whole the whole package of artist, but
Hmm.
I'm not sure how to formulate this. But do you think like having good music these days is enough for artists, like someone that's just making
No,
amazing music, or do you have to know how to use social media? Do you have to have like publicists and stylists and
I think you just have to have a great team behind you. I don't think making good music is enough because there's a lot of talent that has gone to waste or is going to waste due to the fact that nobody's interested in just raw talent anymore. I don't really see many Lauren Hills around and things of that nature. So you have to have the full package. So a great team behind you, people who want to strategize and just be on that journey of evolution and like development with you. So although talent is great and that's the foundation is the talent, there's all these other factors that contribute to it that makes it the whole package.
mm-hmm.
The way you carry yourself, the way you articulate yourself, your image, your style, your demeanor, your professionalism. Are you on time? Even down to that, like things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any thoughts of like why did it change? Why don't we have any more Lauren Hills 2021?
I can't even, it's like I can't even answer that. I don't know why, because I answer myself that question all the time. But the thing is, you've got to through these playlists and stuff, you'll find the artists that, you know, um, that cater to your taste if you are into like a Lauryn Hill or Erykah Badu. However, I feel like because a lot of these artists, they come with a lot of drama, which is, you know, sometimes it's not their fault, or they're controversial. It That's what we're more inclined to, and even I'm guilty of it sometimes. I go on the gossip pages and I'm scrolling through and I'm cackling to myself and whatever. So yeah, that's what I think anyway.
And just coming back to a bit like your networking and mention when you approach people and like kind of having that rejection and things, have you like how often do you maybe reject certain offers for maybe yourself or your artist because people are not being like professional enough or not taking you seriously enough or just you feel
Mm,
like it's not genuine?
I've only had to do that a couple of times, a handful of times. Remember, two artists from America approached me for management, and I rejected them in a respectful way because I was flattered and overwhelmed, but I just thought, how would I manage somebody that's all the way over there? But it was just like, okay, they see what I'm doing and I'm flattered. So I had to reject in that way. And then one time when a deal was put on the table for a previous artist, as a collective, we rejected that because it just wasn't handled in the right way. So only a handful of times, I would say.
And how do you reject people? Or I mean, not even the artists that approach you, but when you approach someone and then they're not being professional, how do you react to it? Like how do you kind of I mean, I think it's quite obvious to see when they're in like from their responses and their manner of like communication, but do you have any like tricks or like anything that worked best for you to say certain things for people to like kind of respect you and
I just act, even though I don't treat working as like an artist manager as a 9 to 5. I just go into 9 to 5 mode. Crystal, write as if you are writing an email to your manager at work or your colleague at work, and I just handle it that way. That way, there's no audit trail of me acting out of character and being angry. If it is a thing that's done by email or DMs, I just 9 to 5 professional work mode, apologies, but and so, and explain myself that way. And good luck on your endeavors or in the future. And yeah,
So just to like coming back to like kind of I mean artists approaching you that is there like where do they see your work? Is there like particular page that you post everything or do they just like they know one of your artists and the artist told them that you manage them or how do people find you?
well, you can find me on Instagram at Crystal Clear London, but that's Crystal Clear LDN. I did I deleted a lot of stuff off my page, and because I've only just started managing new styles as of last month, we've set up our email account, and like I said, I'm considering, well, strongly considering having a separate page. But for now, it's Crystal Clear London, and as we have his new single special, a previous single off of his last EP coming out. Everything I'll post on my story with relating to any updates regarding him, but I'll definitely create a new page. So I'll let everybody know on Crystal Clear London that
And did
everything, all music related things will be moving to that page.
and these artists that approach you, is that how they find you on social media or is it someone that like recommended you or
I have had recommendation, and I had and through social media, like for the new label that I'm going to be working for, that was a word of mouth recommendation. They were just like, Crystal's really professional. She'd be a good addition to your team. What about her? So it's a mixture of both, really, word of mouth, but mainly social media, I'd say.
what will be your role in label? That sounds really exciting.
Yeah, A&R and some management responsibilities also, but mainly A&R.
Oh,
And
nice.
that's for Rapture Records UK. Just a small label that's just starting up. It's based in Brixton, so
Oh,
something I'm
that's
looking forward to.
yeah, that's really nice. Are you gonna manage with your work, like adding up?
I can handle it. I can handle it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be obviously I would love to transition into it being my full time as opposed to having a 9 to 5 as well, but slowly but surely that will be a reality.
And just a bit of like a business side, do you have or have you had contracts with all people you worked with, especially with your artists, but also any collaborations, any partnerships? How is the contracts and how does it feel like like telling people to sign a contract, sending people contracts, making contracts yourself, and anything of that side?
Yeah, I believe in transparency in everything I do when I'm talking with my friends, family, colleagues, transparency. Everybody knows what's like, we're on the same page. Everybody knows what's expected of them. So yeah, contracts is it's a must. Even if it's my best friend, it's a must. So yeah.
Mm. Have you had any like ever people like being resented for not necessarily contracts, but like you being like a leader of them? Have you ever felt like, especially from men, that like if you want to manage them or you're like above them, have you ever felt some sort of resentment?
Like a power struggle.
Yeah,
Um, so
egos.
far, no. No, not so far, no. Because from the beginning, our first meeting, I just said, this is how I am. I'm very transparent. Anything you're going through, whatever, you don't have to tell me the details, but I just want to know like what's going on so I know how to best address the situation. And I feel like I'm on the sneeze.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, everything's set out in the beginning, but no egos so far. Fingers crossed.
Oh yeah, no, that's great because I mean I think our creative industries, especially music, is known for the amazing egos and Kanye
Yeah.
Wests and all sorts of
Yeah.
nice one. So I mean, you mentioned that. I mean, it's not a surprise to us that music industry is male dominated, but do you have any thoughts of why, or do you think there's more and more women coming and it's getting better, or do you think women are not interested in certain roles, or women not being accepted in certain roles of music?
I think from my experience of speaking with other women in the industry, um, I feel like sometimes they may feel intimidated because it is a male dominated industry, but I feel slowly but surely we are being encouraged to step into this space, and this is a space that we should occupy. And there's something that I think women can bring to this music industry table that some men can't. And I've heard that with like the whole male versus female artist manager kind of thing. But no, and I feel like platforms. There's a platform I'm a part of called Women in Control, which is headed by Lethal B's manager, and there's like a great network of women who are pushing forward and encouraging other women to come forward and enter this space and occupy it as well. But we're slowly but surely changing the narrative. Slowly but surely.
Mm-hmm.
We've
Yeah,
got a
that
way to go.
exactly. That's really good to hear. Do you think that women have um, any traits as like as being women, like caring or any like nurturing, that type of skills that might even help to be a manager or like whatever you would
Yes.
work in? Do you think like
Yeah.
women are better at it in a way? Could be better.
Yeah. Well, better. I don't know. I think we're
Attention to
beneficial, and
detail and
yeah, I feel like we are beneficial. And we do a lot of us, not all, but we tend to have like maternal instincts. We're more nurturing. So I feel like I said before, I'm an empath. I'm very understanding. So I feel like yeah, we do have that edge to us. And whenever our artists are going through things because they are under a lot of pressure and they do go through things in like with regard to mental health and things of that nature. So I feel like it's an advantage to have us because we know more than others how it is, and we're not going to be you got to carry on, you got to carry on. We'll just be like, okay, I see what you're going through, let's take a step back and then we go again. But take some time out for yourself, care for yourself, let's do whatever we need to do to resolve this issue and then we move forward. But yeah, I feel we got a maternal edge that sometimes the men don't possess.
and do you have any as well like thoughts of the finding the balance between like taking care of your mental health and having rest and also like having that work ethic, because obviously I think some artists or maybe their managers is almost the more work you put, the better results you might get. So like how to kind of find that balance of being a great manager but also, and and for artists to like keep the things moving, creating content, like posting whatever it is for social media. But
Mm,
do you have any tips on like how to find that, what is enough, like how much work should you be putting every day, every week, or like how many breaks can you allow yourself to have, or anything like that, like related to mental health and also the like
mm.
fast pace of the industry that it's moving.
Well, my artist, he literally lives in the studio. Um, and one of the things we spoke about is just like, I don't know if I'm doing enough, but I said, no, you are doing enough. You practically live in the studio. However, you do have to have that time where you have your downtime where you need to rest. And we discuss certain things like that. I said, if you're going through things, it's just please let me know and I can take over, even if it means like posting and stuff like that. And that's what a manager is supposed to do, to alleviate the artist of some of these duties and a lot of these duties. Focus on your craft and let me handle the logistics of it all, the outside factors and whatever. Just focus on being an artist. But when the pressure starts to feel overwhelming and you start to feel burnout, you start to feel tired, then I'd be that person to be like, okay, let's take a break and then we'll revisit when you're ready to go. And I'll be checking in on them whenever, weekly, just to give them that space because I know how it is and how it can be.
Mm-hmm. So you just mentioned like how often do you communicate with your artists? Like, do you have like a weekly meetings or?
We've been talking every day since we started, or yeah, near enough every day, but we have a
Mm.
meeting every week, once a week. We have a meeting face to face and we discuss plan of actions, and then we come to the next meeting and I tick off, did I do this, did I do that? Because every meeting I've got homework to do, I've got something to do, something to research, people to
Mm-hmm.
contact, and things of that nature. So yeah, weekly meetings, and we talk on WhatsApp near enough every day.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I think it's really great that, I mean, you're keeping each other like accountable to check up also on the work that's been done and that's not been done ever. Just keep moving forward. Like it's really need to sometimes
Aimless, yeah,
reflect. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
All right. So could you tell me just like what about maybe about your artist or about yourself? You already mentioned like possibly creating different social media, like joining the label. Anything else that we should like look forward to, and what you got
Yes.
going on?
Well, his name's Styles, and that's at New Styles, Styless. So it's got two S's, isn't it? Pardon me. Um, yeah, his last albums, I would say, was like melodic trap, but he would like to. We discussed when we got together him exploring more of his Nigerian roots. So we're making that slow transition into the Afro beat side of things, Afro swing kind of thing. So we've just been cooking up in the studio and getting him to do things like that. So we're aiming to have a new EP out in the summer. I want to say I don't want to say any dates yet, but we're saying the summer because we had quite a few bangs that he has made that I've got that summer vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's transitioning to Afro beats, and because he's so versatile, he says that in the future he just doesn't want to be boxed to one genre. And I said that's fine, but you don't want to confuse the people, so let's just keep it consistent. And then when you get to a Kanye level, you or a Snoop Dogg level, you can go and sing with Katy Perry, or then go and sing with Drake the next minute. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is really great time to kind of explore those Afro beats because it just really blew up
yeah,
in the last year or two. So that's really
absolutely.
great. And do you have any tips for like new artists or maybe female managers, female artists, or anyone that like wants to get involved with more with music, or any tips that you could leave for new generation?
Yeah, I'd say go for it first and foremost. Do it. Always be willing to learn and develop. So what that mean? I know this is boring, but books, audio books, YouTube videos, even watching interviews with other artist managers and take notes. Take notes. That's what I do anyway. And follow other artist managers, watch them, and or even if you don't want to be an artist manager or an A&R, watch these people, follow these people, network with these people, even DM them, even if they just leave you on scene, try and reach out. There's a lot of people I've emailed where I'll be like, can I shadow you or would I be able to do this? And they'll be like, not at this time, but please contact me in so and so months because I've got a lot on. So always reach out, be bold and stand your ground when it comes to certain people underestimating you just because of you being a woman, and just be confident in knowing that you can do it. So I'll just say be bold because I was a bit, I would say, timid, like, oh, should I approach this person? Should I send this email? But now I just do it and I just don't care. Unapologetically, I just do it. And if I get rejected, it's fine. But I would say also to build a strong network of people in the industry, people who you trust, and get yourself a mentor as well. That's something that I've looked into. And yeah, I think it's something that could help you along the way if you do want to enter into the music industry and do this properly.
Do you have any particular like books or channels or people that you follow that you like or like you think are really good to check out?
Um, sorry about
No
that.
worries.
No, please close the door. Sorry about that.
No worries. No worries.
Sorry. Sorry, what was there's this girl that I watched on YouTube recently. I forgot her name. She always drops like music management tips. I watch a lot of quality controls material, like the people who manage the Migos, was it Coach K and P, Master P. There's this book, there's these books that I've got on my watch list. I don't want to come out of the app, but it's Music, Business and Success, I believe it's called. The MBA, the Music MBA that I've started to read. Um, and a lot of rooms on Clubhouse as well pertaining to music and networking. That's something that I pay close attention to. And my webinars and seminars, PRS have a lot of webinars that I attend, and Women in Control is also another platform that I attend where I've met multiple or connected with multiple women who are doing the same thing as me.
Nice one. Yeah, that's really useful. I'm gonna check some of those things out as well, possibly
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, I
And
can send you all the links.
oh yeah, that would be amazing. We can also add it to the podcast if anyone wants to check out. But yeah, I think that's yeah. There's definitely like education first, and then as long as we have internet, we have so much access to it now. And I feel in the pandemic, there were so many people that started doing like virtual conferences and panels and all sorts of events that before we not necessarily could always find out about or attend.
Yeah, we have to adapt.
So thank you so much for being here. Any last words? Any last shout outs or social media sites right
Yes.
now?
Thank you for having me first and foremost. And I'd love you all to follow New Styles at New Styles on Instagram, NEWSTYLESS. And you can follow me at Crystal Clear LDN. Um, and for those who are looking to enter into the music industry, don't think about it, just do it and use all the resources and find all the information that you can and go to those events, go to those webinars and seminars, answer those questions. I mean, ask those questions and just keep learning and putting yourself out there and just be willing to learn eternally.
All right. Thank you so much. And
You're
I'll
welcome.
talk to you later. Then have a lovely rest of the day.
And you too.